Well, across the pond, the Open set to take place later this week at Royal St. George's, where most of the top 50 in the world will tee it up, looking to come away with that Clark jug there. The tournament returning to England for the first time since Jordan Spieth won at Royal Birkdale in 2017. 15th time this course has hosted the event, first time since 2011. Returning champ Shane Lowry, among others, trying to come away with the final major of the year. So when it comes to those odds here, world number one, Jon Rahm checking in as a favorite at 7-1. Bryson DeChambeau, first time he'll put his new body to the test on the links here. Former number one, Dustin Johnson, it's been a quiet summer for him. Right on his heels, though, at 15-1. If you're feeling a little lucky there, Louis Oosthuizen coming in at 30-1. But when it comes to those long shots, not far-fetched to believe they can get it done. We've seen it in the past. I'll give you a few right here. So Ben Curtis, how about this one? At 500-1 coming into this one to win last time the major was actually on this course. Ended up beating a field with Thomas Bjorn and Tiger Woods, Davis Love, and Nick Faldo back in 2003. Then 10 years ago, Darren Clarke coming into that tournament. He was 111th in the world rankings for the Open there, and Clarke won by 3 shots, claiming his only major victory at the age of 42. Time to bring in Kyle Porter with more of the Open here. And as we head in, just gave everybody at home 2 long shots to get it done, Kyle. I want to see if we have any this week that can have success here on this course.
Well, I don't know if I have anybody as long as Ben Curtis was back when he won this tournament, but there are 3 guys that are a little bit longer odds outside kind of those top favorites that I really like this week. Lee Westwood is one of them. And then you go a little deeper with Bobby Mack, Robert McIntyre there, and then Billy Z, Will Zalatoris. These are 3 guys that have played really well at major championships in the past. Obviously, Lee Westwood's history is well documented. He's about to become what would be the all-time leader in majors played without a major win if he doesn't win this Open Championship. But he's been hitting the ball really well. He's had a really good summer, and he's played well at Opens in the past. So that would be more of the feel-good story. A 48-year-old winning the Open, in an Englishman winning the Open at 48 in England would be pretty incredible. But then Robert McIntyre has been a really underrated major player. He finished in the top 15 the last time the Open was played at Royal Portrush, and then obviously everybody knows Will Zalatoris' story. Finished runner-up at the Masters this year. Is one of the best ball strikers, best iron players in the world. I think his odds are a little bit longer than they should be. He hasn't been playing great. But again, he's kind of that Colin Moricao light, where you look at the iron play and it's just very difficult not to think that he's going to play well at major championships.
Look, we're talking about a major. If Lefty can get it done at 50, Lee Westwood, he has my money at 48. Speaking of the Brits here, give me a guy that could probably come out on top. You got a few here, just to name a few. Ian Poulter, Paul Casey, Tommy Fleetwood. Who has the best chance of coming out on top here?
Yeah, this is a really interesting crew because there's nobody in that kind of 20-1 or shorter range, but there's a lot of guys in the 30 to 50-1, and they've all had varying degrees of success at Open Championships. I think Terrell Hatton's a really interesting pick here at 28-1. He's played really well at Open Championships in the past 5 or so years. You look back to the Henrik Stenson and Phil Mickelson duel back in 2016 at Royal Troon. He finished in the top 5 there. He was about 15 strokes back, but still in the top 5 beyond them, and then in the top 10 at Royal Portrush as well. I think Terrell Hatton is the guy that could come out of that group, and he would be the first Englishman since Nick Faldo in 1992 to win the Open Championship. And if you want to take it back even further, Brandon, nobody since Tony Jacklin in 1969 has won the Open Championship on English soil. No Englishman has won on English soil, has won this tournament. So it's been a long time since that happened. It'd be a really cool story for any of these guys to get it done this week at Royal St. George's.
You have a cool story there. Jordan Spieth, he's had some success here. Won this tournament 4 years ago. He's never missed a cut in 7 attempts, has 3 top 10s. I mean, when you look at what he brings to the table, what is your expectations this time around for Spieth?
Well, they're high. You know, he's had a really good major season so far. Hasn't won one yet, but played great at the Masters, played great at the PGA Championship. Fell off a little bit at the U.S. Open. That wasn't really a course that I thought set up well for him. But, you know, the reason he's had success at Opens is because they're held at venues that kind of play into his style. You can miss off the tee a little bit. You don't always have to hit driver off the tee, but you do have to be a great iron player, and you have to be really creative around the greens. And, you know, that kind of fits Jordan Spieth to a tee. There's a reason that he's had a ton of success at Open Championships. And, you know, he comes into this year or into this Open just playing a lot better than he has at the last few. But even at those Opens back in 2018, 2019, he's still making cuts and finishing, you know, top 20, top 30. So it's not as if he fell off completely at this tournament. I really think that he's going to finish in the top 10 and have a really successful week at Royal St. George's.
Coming in at 21 odds as we head that way for the rest of the week. Justin Thomas, it's interesting, Kyle, but he had his first top 10 since March in Scotland. In this tournament, his best finish, you got to go back to 2019 at T11. Chances he kind of builds on what we saw last week in Scotland heading into this week.
Well, you know, he should. He is, again, he's a very good iron player, and he's very creative. He's got a very creative short game, and you know, so it wasn't super surprising to see him play well in Scotland. But you're right. He hasn't had a lot of success at Open Championships. I feel less confidence in him than I do in somebody like a Spieth and somebody like a Xander Schauffele, who also played in that Scottish Open and found a little success there. So JT is an interesting guy for me because, you know, like I said, he should be having success at Opens because of kind of the style of play. But he hasn't really over the course of his career. If you look kind of more broadly at the majors, it's probably been his worst one, you know, air quotes, his worst one. JT is not bad at any of the majors, but it's probably been the least successful of any of the four that he's played in.
You mentioned there the 3 starts or appearances he's made, a T53 and 2 missed cuts heading into this week. Colin Moricao, he has a clean slate, the number 4 player in the world, his first appearance at the Open. When you talk about him, he's one of the best ball strikers on the tour. Does that translate this week on this course?
I think it does. You know, he's a really interesting guy this week because not only it's so weird that he's coming in playing his first Open Championship as the number 4 ranked player in the world. How many times has that happened where a guy that's top 5 in the world is playing in the Open for the first time? I don't know if it's ever happened. I'm sure we could call Justin Ray, the statistician, and figure out if that's ever taken place. But that to me is bizarre. It's also bizarre that he's 40-1, Brandon, to win this tournament. And again, we're talking about the number 4 player in the world who's also the best iron player on the planet. And it just, that number does not add up to me. I don't understand it. I think that, you know, it takes him getting used to playing links courses. He didn't play that well last week at the Scottish Open, finished outside the top 50 there. But for my money, the way he strikes the golf ball, and the way he's been playing overall this summer, he's been really good. Just a ton of top 10s, top 15s in a row. Contended at the U.S. Open, finished in the top 10 there as well. So I just think at those odds, if you can get him as a top 10 guy or even a top 20 guy, I really like Morikawa this week.
To see how his first appearance there, as you mentioned, of course, he's a great ball striker and also keeps in the fairway. But when we're looking at some of these bigger challenges at the course as a whole, you got the bunkers and the roughs. What's going to be a bigger difficulty for the guys heading into this week?
Yeah, you know, this is a little bit different course than some of the other links courses that the Open Championship goes to. One of the things that has kind of been talked about this week, there's a lot of out of bounds. We saw Dustin Johnson hit a ball out of bounds back in 2011 when he was playing alongside Darren Clarke, who you mentioned earlier. DJ hit a ball out of bounds on the 14th hole that really took him out of the tournament, and we're going to see a lot of opportunities for guys to hit balls out of bounds where that's not really something you think about a ton at an Open Championship. But I think the bigger issue, Brandon, is going to be those bunkers that you mentioned where guys hit drives that are really rolling out, and they're going to be frustrated at how often their drives, the balls they hit off the tee, are rolling into bunkers. It's going to happen a ton. This is one of the hardest places in the world to get up and down out of kind of the greenside bunkers, and there's going to be I think mentally, maybe more so than anything, there's going to be guys frustrated. They're going to have to keep their cool and figure out how to get up and down, how to make bogey even and keep double off the card to have a shot at winning this Open Championship.
Crazy to see those old images of Tiger there with all the grass on his club after trying to get out the rough. And as you mentioned, the bunkers, a tall task as well. All right, Kyle, most important question you're going to answer this week. Of course, we know all this is going down in Sandwich, Kent, England. What's the best type of sandwich we're eating here this week during the tournament?
Well, the best type of sandwich I'm eating is I'm going to say like a grilled turkey with a ton of veggies.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.